Okay, we're just going to have a quick look at Budget Easy from Tools to Save. We'll open up the screen to 1024768. Budget Easy is made up of a series of buttons. They're setup, income, expense, savings, and the summary section where you see graphs and stuff. Cash flow calendar, which allows you to browse through on a calendar basis and look at what expenses and income you're going to get on a particular day or week. And you've got a section for files and backup. Let's have a quick look at setup. Setup allows you to enter your personal details, your identification name, and things like your forecast start date and month, year, etc. We then can go to target entities. Target entities are the people or items that you want to track expenses for. And we can look at bank accounts. In this particular case, there's some predefined bank accounts. But if you want to do more bank account work, then like auto balancing and working within limits of bank accounts, then you need to apply Forecast Easy. And you've got provider details. Providers would help you through the process of budgeting. Okay, let's have a look at income. Income's quite straightforward. There's a whole series of predefined income components. So let's just have a quick look at salaries. Salaries are, in this particular case, are made up of Jill and John's salary components. There's other items there. You can have pre and post tax salaries. You can enter your income tax separately, etc. Let's have a look at expense. Expense is similarly outlined. We have a whole series of expense categories. We can enter those. For example, council rates. There's one item for council rates there that's unallocated. We can look at electricity, etc. So let's have a look at savings. Savings is made up of a series of predefined components. Let's have a look at savings. Savings are made up of a series of savings components. Safety net, holidays, all sorts of target savings amounts that you might want to look at. In this particular case, we have a safety net of $1,200. And we can see that down the bottom. There's a summary section. Expenses are $59,000, income $63,000, savings is $1,200, and we have a net surplus of $2.4 thousand, which we can allocate to other savings items. We can look at the item cash flows. We can look at all item cash flows, look at savings items only. This goes for income and expense as well. In other words, we can look at income expense components. Now we can also print that. Let's see if we can get this into the window here. So printing is quite straightforward, and in other areas we can export to Excel. So let's have a quick look at a summary. We can look at the cash flow summary that we have here, and that goes by expense, by item, and we can also print that, and we'll bring that back into a view. We can fit to the page, etc., etc. Now, so let's have a quick look at the summary section. The summary section is made up of a summary table, which we can print. And of course, we can see all the expenditure by item, the person or entity that. Let's have a look at the analysis. Income and expense items. We can see on the left-hand side the expenses and the income as a negative. Now, income is entered as a credit, which is a negative in accounting terms. On the right-hand side, we see the graph in terms of sources. So let's have a look at income only. Let's have a look at expense only. So we can look at the types of expense groups that make up the expense base group. Let's have a look at expense variability. Now, this looks at day-to-day discretionary, financial, insurance, or by type, utilities, rates, and taxes. Let's have a look at utilities, rates, and taxes. So here we've got electricity, gas, and water, which are also the subject of Tools to Save software in the form of Electric Easy, Gas Easy, and Water Easy. Let's have a look at monthly cash flows. On the month-to-month basis, the cash flows are negative. The negative cash flows are where income exceeds expense, and the positive are where expense exceeds income. And so we obviously need to look at these months prior to the net outflows to make sure we have enough money in the bank, and so we can look at that on a cumulative basis. So here's the cumulative figures, and looks like we're okay except for the first month. And obviously we'd like to start with an account balance of greater than 1,000. Okay, let's have a look at cash flow calendar. This particular forecast starts on the 1st of July 2010. It's a sample that's in here, and we can see the month of July, the inflows and outflows, and we can then look at each particular day. In this case, there's 2 items on the Friday the 2nd. There's probably more on the next following Friday. Let's just expand that a little bit, and we can start to see that. We can print that, and also we can then export that file to Excel, and that was created automatically in the Tools to Save Budget Easy to Exported folder. Of course, there's a monthly breakout of your budget, and we can see the monthly figures there, and we can export that to Excel as well and or print it. that's pretty well Budget Easy in a nutshell. We can also back up, restore, look for samples. Back up this software. We can see the number of files that have already been backed up there. We get a Budget Easy. We can change that name to anything and back it up now and then exit that dialog. So that's it. That's a quick overview of Budget Easy.